Hello there, and welcome into this astrology solar energy update for this first half of June 2024 to better give you some guidance and understandings of what might be coming your way and how to better surf these waves of change, transformation, rather than being pulled under and submerged by them. My name is Chrissy Wissler. I am an intuitive, an evolutionary astrologer, as well as a healer. And if you are needing extra support right now, if you are really going through it and you don't know why, then I highly recommend trying a birth chart reading to understand why these experiences are coming to you, brought to you, magnetized to you by your soul. It's so helpful to understand the deeper why, so again, you can meet those energies and surf them. Now, please note that that is available for you. You can find out more at my website, chrissywissler.com, or you can email me directly, and I'll leave a link in the description below for you. And I also offer intuitive quantum astrology healing sessions to really help with those sticky areas. So if you're interested in more, please reach out. And if you like this video and if you find this helpful, please give it that thumbs up, subscribe to the channel, and share it to your friends or anyone you feel might really benefit from understanding these energies and how they may be relating to their life and why. It really helps me so much, and thank you. And please know that I appreciate you all for being here. And just being on this planet at this time is a really big deal. And you are all like superstar souls for just being here at this moment in time. It is quite intense. It's quite transformational. And we are really walking into something new together. So thank you for being here and for shining your unique light. Now, hopefully, with what I'm going to share will give you some deeper guidance and help you almost pattern think and link how some of these energies might be relating into your life. Okay, so as usual, I have my notes because there's a whole lot that is going on. So I would say since April, since we had our big total solar eclipse in Aries, April into May, and now we are at June. We have all been in this collective transformation cycle. Remember, eclipses are like pivot points where you thought you were going in one direction and then suddenly it's like the rug gets ripped out from under you. You might be at a crossroads. You might be having a forced change that you didn't want to make, but it's like, okay, this thing that happened to me, I had no control over. Now what am I going to do? And it's that realigning back to each of us, each of our unique desires has been so much of this theme to do with Aries. So April, May can be very big, sudden transformation. Shocking, unexpected moves by the universe or by God. Like, it's like, whoa, this thing that just happened to me. And May has been this almost like an integration period of we've had these big shifts and change, now we might be integrating. What does that change actually mean? And as well, this opportunity to find the blessings, even in things that might be really shitty, or really challenging, or really bumpy. It's not to say that it might not be shitty, your experience, whatever that is. And yet, can you also see the little silver linings? Can you see why you might be having the experience you're having from that higher vantage point? That's so much of this Jupiter energy, and we're going to talk more about Jupiter as we get into the astrology, but that's very much this invitation right now, is if you are going through something pivotal, transformational, unexpected. It might still suck. It might still be really hard. And yet, can you see the deeper why you're having this experience, and how might it be helping you, turning you towards this new you, this transformational you that's stepping up more and more into your power. So let me know in the comments below, if you feel comfortable, of course, like, how are you doing? Has any of this been your experience since April? Have you had any big, shocking, shifting, changing moments in your life? Or maybe not you directly, but in those around you who you most love and care about. This can be really, again, being forced to go a whole new way. Like the universe put up this big road closed sign. You cannot go any further. Now what are you going to do? What is the detour that you are now meant to take? And this detour in general, lining up with these, with the moon's nodes, the north node in Aries, this is about what it is that you desire. Not the other people in your life, not the relationships that you might have had a very codependent experience with, where you might have lost yourself into the relationship, into the values of other people. This is like that separating from that loss of individuality and coming back to you. What is it that you desire? And it's not to say letting go of all relationships, but it's a more equal balance, this give and take, this back and forth. So some of you might be really in deep with relationships right now and separating from loved ones. You might even find yourself doing this deeper work at a quantum multi-dimensional level, where you might actually be having your experience here, and yet the depth of healing that you're doing, it's like you're tapping into your great-great-grandmothers or great-grandfathers. And it's like suddenly you're in this experience and you're like, wow, what I am feeling is so deep and so intense. This is not mine alone. So please know that you can also be doing this deep soul healing at this time, and it also can be healing at a greater collective level. So I hope that helps for those of you who might be really in it. This is very much the Chiron experience of Chiron being at that north node during that Aries eclipse. We've also had Mars recently conjunct Chiron, and I'll get more into that in a little bit, what Mars is doing, but just know there's a lot of energy around this healing. And again, it can be very uncomfortable. Chiron healing experiences, this wounded healer, going into that underworld, going into the depths of our wounds, our unconscious, in order to become these master healers and teachers. And yet, that purging process, that removing of these toxins can be very, very uncomfortable. And if you've been in one of those processes, you know exactly what I mean. But that is some of this energy that we've been working with, and now as we're moving into June, you still can be having that clay being molded depending on what your unique experience is. And again, if you don't understand what your unique experience is and why, this is why I really highly recommend having a birth chart reading, because we get to see like, okay, why is this thing happening? Why is your soul bringing that to you? All right, so that's sort of this overarching energy that we are still in, and we're kind of moving through. And hopefully, as we come into June, there's going to be even more clarity with whatever this is, and this new path forward for you, this new direction that you might be trailblazing, even if it's not easy. All right, so just a little mini update from me. I've been quiet because we've recently had one of those rug getting ripped out from under us moments for our family. I actually went and wrote a blog post, and I'll do an audio version of that. So I'll go into it more there. But just as a little overview summary, Sean was unexpectedly laid off the last 2 weeks of May. And it was for us thinking we were on this nice solid territory. His game was doing, Sean's in video games, his game is doing great. It's a fun game to play. Players are really enjoying it. It's on several platforms. And just due to mismanagement, especially of money, which is this Venus energy, and we'll talk about Venus, it's like everything that we had really put our dreams into is just gone. And so for us, we've been in this very, and still are, in this liminal space. Where are we going? What is our new direction? And then there are the real fears, the real truths of this world that we live in, where you need to pay your bills and you need to pay your rent and so forth, right? And so it's like, whoa, now what are we going to do? So I've been moving through my own very deep unconscious fears where it comes to money. And as I was in Bryce Canyon National Park with the children right after this happened, it was just amazing and magical. And the messages coming through and the guidance to go deeper. And for me, that was actually looking at my fear of uncertainty and realizing that life actually has no certainty other than there's going to be change and eventually you're going to die. But it's like there's been all these constructs and beliefs by society of no, you do this thing, you do this thing, you do this thing, and you're going to get an amazing job and be there for 40 years or whatever. You know, we have these societal constructs, and it was like I had to go deep and strip all those away to actually see the thing that I was afraid of, that I had such a difficult time doing, which is faith. Absolute surrender into faith, to accept what was happening and to trust that process. And realizing as well that I had already done that before and I knew how to do that with my children. Sean and I never had any certainty that they would ever be able to talk. And we had to come into this acceptance and trust that no matter what happened, that we would be okay. So just to share that little bit with you, kind of also why I've been a little quiet is I've been doing my own inner process and moving with the flow of the emotions as they come through, not squashing them down or shoving them under the rug. And it's that flowing and then returning back to center. So if you are also going through some very sudden, shocking experiences with money, with jobs, security, finances, I just wanted to share that with you so you know that you are not alone. And to bring in as well, because I follow different people as well as tuning into my own experiences and tuning into the energies and the astrology. So Jason Estes, and I'll go ahead and link to him as well, he's been speaking about since early May that, and I'm going to quote him here, we are being tested on abundance and what it means to us. Anything other than abundance in your mind will come up for review. So having that information before I had this experience was really helpful because I was like, okay, I'm being tested on this. I need to look at why I'm so afraid. Why is the depths of these feelings that I'm having? Because they were very deep. They were not. clearing that energy. What I was feeling wasn't just mine in this here and now moment of, it was May 2024, Sean getting laid off. It was more than that, and I could feel that. So you might also be having a similar experience where, again, it's not just you in this now moment, but it's going deeper. And then also interesting, again, these synchronistic correlations, is while I was in Bryce Canyon, Alexander Quinn, and I'll link him as well on YouTube, he posted his own June and Energy Ascension update. And in this, he spoke about this deficit with abundance. Okay, and that video came up right as I was in the heart of my own deep dive into what was really the thing that my soul was afraid of, and not just not paying my bills. I mean, that's a fear, yes, but there's like more underneath that, and that's where I had to go deep to find out what it was. So Alexander Quinn speaks about how we've had this raising up of this abundance vibration frequency energy, and we have this part now here in our material template. They're not matching. There is this void that might exist because through this April eclipse, the abundance template has risen, but we may not be there yet. And so we can have these experiences, these mirrorings in our life that are like, no, we got to catch up. What is the thing for you that you need to see to rise up to match this new vibration? So again, it's this going under the icy waters to see the part of the iceberg that is below the surface in our unconscious, in our conditionings, and these beliefs and patterns that might have been taught to us as children, coming in as well through the morphogenetic field of humanity. So this can be some of that experience of that mirroring, helping us to rise up to this higher vibration. Now, bringing in as well with the astrology is we've recently had this end of April, this end of May. I swear time is getting really slippery. It's getting slippery for you too, let me know. So we had end of May. We had our Venus, Jupiter, Uranus conjunction in Taurus. So Taurus is this fixed earth energy. Taurus has to do with abundance, resources, energy exchange. This is all, Venus rules all of Taurus, all these energies. So here she is coming through, conjuncting Uranus, sudden, shocking experiences, totally out of nowhere, in Jupiter. Jupiter is this planet of expansion. So again, if you might have had a sudden experience of losing your job out of nowhere that you thought was totally safe and secure, like really like, yeah, this is going somewhere, and then it's not, you're not alone, it's also being reflected in astrology. This includes jobs, this is money, this is land, again, how you're doing energy exchange as well. So it's no surprising as well that we had the XCM with crypto take the hit that it did when they removed that bottom. I don't know a lot about crypto, but I know they removed the bottom, whatever the bottom pricing is. Anyway, a lot of people lost millions of dollars on paper. So again, sudden, shocking, this may not be bad, or I should say a challenging experience. This also can be a good one for you. Maybe you had a lot of money come into you out of nowhere. But I wanted to as well speak about this deeper energy that you may be working and experiencing with when it comes to, again, money, resources, how we are doing this energy exchange, because money is actually energy. So how we are doing these different kind of energy exchanges. So there is this whole new cycle that is being started. It might have started on a rough kind of bump. I mean, that was our experience. Yours may not be. But again, a new cycle is beginning with this. So there is a real opportunity and real possibilities, and I hope this this grounds you if you are one of those people who've had those unexpected experiences. And again, look for your silver linings. And I also would suggest that if you are having deep feelings about these experiences, slow down. That's that Taurus wisdom. Slow down and take the opportunity to really be with them. Why are you having the emotional experiences that you're having? So what is that deeper iceberg experience for you? Because when you see it, when you see what's there, then you can address it. And so then it's not going to be unconsciously driving you anymore. You're going to be the one in that driver's seat. More will come up as it does. These are layers of experiences, but this particular one, you're going to know what that energy is. You'll be working with it and moving with it rather than resisting it, pushing against it. Okay, so let's move in a little bit to the solar update. So sunspot group 3697, this is formally our 3664. This sunspot group, okay, even though it's been renamed, this is the one that gave us that great G5 geomagnetic storm, the one where we saw the northern lights super far down. Let me know if you're one of the cool people who got to see those. I was in Los Angeles surrounded by light pollution, and that didn't happen, and I didn't get enough forewarning that I should go drive for a couple hours in the middle of the night to go do it. But if that was you, let me know. And if you have pictures, that'd be cool if you could post them. Anyway, so that storm is one of the strongest that we've had in hundreds of years. So that sunspot group has, at the moment, it's a little bit quieter, but it started out really strong as it turned around to be facing Earth once again. They rotate around the sun. So it's now facing Earth. It gave us 3 X-class solar flares within 36 hours, and that was starting on June 1st. One of those was a 5-hour long duration flare. There's a bit of controversy right now about if it released a halo CME, if it didn't, if a halo CME was released on the backside of the sun, which we don't have sensors there, so we can't really see. So there was flaring that happened, there were CMEs that happened, but if they're Earth-directed or not, the scientists don't really know. This is still a very bit predictive estimating game that they're doing. So we could potentially have a geomagnetic storm that might hit today on June 5th or into tomorrow, June 6th, of when I'm filming this, which again is this perfect timing with this Sun-Venus conjunction. And I'll talk more about that in a second. But really, while this sunspot group is Earth-facing, there are very strong possibilities of geomagnetic activity. And even if they're not super strong X-class flares, and remember, each class is 10 times stronger than the last. And then when you get to X-class, an X2 is 10 times stronger than an X1. So very strong in growth. So even though we may not have very big, powerful hitting ones, when they do release flares, we can really, really feel them and be picking them up. These light codes in our magnetosphere, the ionosphere, like we're really, really receptive and really feeling that right now. So just know it may not be super powerful, and you might be solar sensitive and flat on your butt with some of these, and you're like, this is only an M2, what's wrong with me? Just know that we can really be feeling them, even if they're a little bit smaller than, quantity wise. Okay, so yeah, the Venus energy we've been noticing a lot of correlations with solar activity as well as geomagnetic storms when Venus is coming in and getting linked. So just know that at this exact moment there is a lot of potential for that. Whatever the sun decides to do. But we are in solar maximum right now, and these energies will more than likely continue. So really take care of yourself, really ground and be in nature. Get your bare feet on the ground if you can. Go in water. The ocean is amazing if you have that access to you. So hope that helps just a little bit if you are solar sensitive. Okay, so let's dive deeper into this June astrology. As I said, this is a power-packed month, a lot to cover. So I've been talking about Mars and Chiron. Also wanted to share about Mars being conjunct Eris. Now, they've already had their exact conjunction as I'm filming this, but they're still in this orb of influence. And Mars is really coming in and bringing energy to Eris. Eris, she is Mars's sister. She is the warrior goddess herself. But what she does is she comes into the room, and where Pluto might shine a light in shadowy places, helping you again to see that iceberg under the water, Eris just walks into the room and turns the light on. So there are no shadows. She's a very strong energy. She is the last one on the battlefield. And it's said in myth that her feet touch the earth where her head can touch the heavens. So she's very powerful, very strong, and yet very sensitive energy as well. She has this gift of being able to rise to any occasion and to show you what that is. So Mars coming in is really energizing, bringing energy to Eris. To finding, yes, our individuality, to trailblaze our unique direction. But Eris is also about diversity. Everyone to be included. Everyone to be invited at that party. So we might see more protests coming up through these energies. Again, Eris is very this powerful to the people kind of energy. So it'll be interesting to see how that continues to play out on that world stage. She's a very truth-telling kind of energy. And she's also right now very interesting. She's squaring Ceres. And Ceres is in Capricorn, this mother nurturing energy. And Ceres is actually reflecting back to where she was in January 2020, that powerful new moon conjunction with Pluto and Saturn that was also our kickoff for this pandemic. So there can be this reviewing back to that past. What shadows do we need to see? What truths do we need to see about our own personal experiences, or again on that bigger, higher level with the collective and society? Also in June, this is going to be a very fast-paced time. This is Gemini energy. Gemini is very fast, very speedy. Mercury, Gemini, this is the phone operator god. This networking, connecting this person to this person to this person. Jupiter is also in Gemini now, and Jupiter will be here for the next year. And Jupiter is going to be wanting to bring in these higher truths, especially when it comes to the media, to communication, to the news. I could feel that coming up, so clearing that energy out. Jupiter wants us to find the higher truth. Now, lower octave Jupiter has to do with very one-size-fits-all approach. you know, there is one religion, there is one God. Everybody needs to believe this one thing. Jupiter also has to do with, again, philosophy and religion. So it's that very like narrow-minded, one-way thinking. Higher octave Jupiter is everyone has their own truth depending on their lived experience. So it's bringing in that more diversity consciousness, which is like that Eris. So Jupiter's helping us to rise up, to see all the little different connections of Mercury and Gemini, and then to take those connections and to see the bigger picture, to see the linking of all those individual experiences. Now, that can be difficult because there can be a lot of very speedy information, truth coming at us so quickly that we actually might get swept away with all this information. So it is that being discerning, rising up, and also knowing when do you need to go ground and be like, you know what, I'm going to turn off the phone, I'm going to turn off the news, no more. And returning back to center, returning back to ourselves and our experience. So just kind of know there's a lot of this Gemini energy that's taking place. So we've had planets, these planets, we have the sun, the moon's coming in as well, Mercury, Jupiter, Venus, all of them coming in. They're first conjuncting Sedna at 0 degrees of Gemini. And Sedna, she's going to be here for a while, till 2076. She is bringing us information from our far reaches of our galaxy. She's got an 11,000-year orbit, so she's bringing new information to us. And in her myth, she was clinging onto the side of a boat in the middle of the storm. And her father, to save himself, took a club and chopped at her fingers as she was holding on, trying to save herself. And Sedna watched as her fingers fell and sank to the bottoms of the icy Arctic waters, where they transformed into beautiful sea creatures, whales, seals, dolphins. And in that moment, she as well realized she needed to let go of those old patriarchal ways, old beliefs, and to allow herself to sink and to be transformed. So this is Sedna's energy. And again, what in you needs to be let go of? This can have to do with your beliefs, different philosophies that you have, that you might have been raised by, different ways of thinking, communicating, how we value, how we love. That's all Venus energy. Are we actually allowing our unique creative expression to come out, to be born? Or are we holding it in? Sedna's energy is all about helping us to line back to our spiritual path of destiny. So how this shapes is going to be very unique and different for each of you. But just know that there is this energy in the background, especially for June, that we are really embarking on. And we probably won't know what that is yet. Because, you know, again, Sedna is a very patient energy. Can you go with that flow? To not resist what might be happening to you that's actually asking you, let go of those beliefs. You're done with them. Allow yourself to be transformed. So we also have bringing energy into this is Pluto is trining these early degrees of Gemini. Pluto's in Aquarius. So again, powerful energy coming into this transformation are powerful words, powerful new teachings, being able to see from that higher perspective and bringing energy into this perspective that might actually be from the future itself. Aquarius, very unique ways of seeing things. So this is leading us into our new moon in Gemini, which is going to be happening actually in just a few hours, but it's that June 5th, June 6th. It's taking place at 16 degrees of Gemini. So if you want to know where that is in your chart and what that means for you, again, I recommend birth chart readings. All right. So to just give you an overall energy of what this new moon cycle might be opening for you, okay? Do expect that this can be highly transformative, especially around our words, how we speak and communicate. I definitely expect like the news media, social media to be a very big topic this next moon cycle and definitely into the future. That's that Jupiter in Gemini for sure. This is also how we connect to other people. Again, Mercury being that telephone operator god. So, let me actually give you a really interesting experience that I had. Sean and I, we were hiking in Idlewild, just the two of us, in these beautiful mountains. And I'm seeing all these lizards on these rocks because it was a nice warm day. And also on this trail is a lot of dogs. It's a very dog-friendly place. I think I saw as many dogs as I did people. So I'm thinking, my gosh, I haven't seen any snakes. I wonder if there's just not a lot of snakes on this particular trail because they happen to know that dogs pass by a lot, So I'm just kind of thinking about this. The lizards gave me that idea, or so I thought. And then not a minute later, I meet this hiker, and he stops me to tell me that he just saw a snake. And he shows me this picture, and it's a black, red, and yellow or white, I can't remember, but it's a California king snake. And he showed it to me. And he was like, yeah, this big snake was just on the trail about 100 yards up. And I was like, wow. So the communication that I was picking up on was a more telepathic. I actually never saw the snake, and yet I was picking up on this person's experience of the snake and taking a picture. And I picked it up on it in the ethers, my little antennas, my intuitive antennas. Again, Jupiter here being in Gemini too. I'm like, oh, how very interesting. This is also some of that Sedna energy of we are going to be having new ways of communicating with our consciousness. So just kind of know, look at your life. Are you having any interesting experiences like that? Instead of writing them off, can you see what they actually might be, these little synchronistic messages? All right, so another energy with this new moon is, have you been supported by the right people in your life? The right relationships? Or is it time to move on? To find the right connections who resonate with this new you? Again, that's our North Node in Aries. It's about your desires, your unique direction, and what is that for you? This flame of your heart, this calling that your spark wants to go to. So you might be finding that people are falling away from you in your life because they're not supportive of you, or vice versa too. You may not be supportive of them, and there can be this natural disconnection and falling away. And this new door opening to find the right people who are meant for you. We can be having very new experimental changes in how we do money and resources and what we value. All of this is Venus energy, and Venus is conjunct the sun and the moon at this new moon. So there's really new beginning, these new opportunities that are starting. And to really go against the grain of old systems, structures, conditionings. This new moon is also square to Saturn right now. So don't be afraid to start this new investigative journey across the desert to transmute whatever shadow might be within you into light, to lead you forward and where you are meant to go. This energy is linking to Ixion in Capricorn right now. You might be reviewing, reflecting, revisiting these past relationships, again, codependency, what is truly fair and equitable in order to move forward, to rebirth into something new. So there can be this deeper reflection on past relationships. We also have Mercury in Gemini, who rules Gemini. And Mercury is conjunct to Lucifer, the asteroid, as well as Jupiter. And this, very interesting, is forming a finger of fate with Ixion in Capricorn, as well as Varuna in Leo. So it's this linking up of authenticity and sovereignty. What is your authentic way of communicating and thinking? Not the one way, right? Or again, towing that party line of what you are allowed to say, but your way. And can you realize that everyone has their own unique way, and then that's okay, that they have their own authentic expressions, their unique soul journeys. And this realization, again, and letting that go, it is allowing us to really have our own sovereignty and allowing others to have theirs. This is not something you try and force, okay? These inconjunct energies, they are a fated aspect. So when they're working, they flow. When they're not, they're not. So again, it's this recognizing what might be in front of you and just letting things go and letting them flow. So again, very much this go against the grain. Go follow your grain, your unique way, your authentic passions. Ixion is asking us, are the rules we're playing by the right rules? And in Capricorn, this very much has to do with these old structures and beliefs. Again, this top-down authority structure, person in charge, pull yourselves up by the bootstrap, don't feel, don't cry, this is wintertime, we gotta survive, right? Like these are old Capricorn energies that we are shedding and letting go of. And Ixion is asking each of us, are those rules you're playing by the right ones, or are they a bunch of bullshit? So this is time to make the new rules that do work for you, that do help you bring whatever it is that you are desiring, that you are dreaming up and creating, bringing that spirit, that dream, and making it real. And also as well, this is still about listening to other people. We don't want to just, again, throw the baby out with the bathwater. This is a balance, a dance between what it is that we desire and other people. So this is only the first half of June. We have a powerful full moon coming up. We have our summer solstice. Saturn will be going retrograde as well. This is a Capricorn full moon, so that's really going to heighten that energy. So yeah, there's a lot of shaking up out of the old that's happening this June. Lots of information, lots of truth coming to light. Don't let that throw you off your surfboard. Really focus in on you and your journey and what your soul is calling to you and asking you to look at this time. And again, if you need support, please know I do have those intuitive quantum healing sessions as well as birth chart readings to help you on your journey. Please, as always, like this video, subscribe to the channel, share this with your friends if you find it helpful, and again, let me know, what is your experience of June bend so far? How have you been doing surfing these post-eclipse energies and integrating these new changes? I'd love to hear from you and to hear your stories. Thank you all so much for being here. I appreciate you, and I'll talk to you soon. Take care. Bye-bye.